Hi, everyone. Let me check. I think I am live. Yeah. So I see there are already some people waiting here. Hi, Jennifer, Alyssa, and Kelly. Happy Thursday. And looks like at least two of you are joining us in the event this weekend. And you're doing your homework. So let's see. I think it's Heather behind the Pinkfur Studio name today. So hi, Heather. And yeah, I'm not sure if you saw in either in the newsletter or in the video description, but today I'm going to use one of the brand new collections called Lovely Blooms. And it's beautiful. So I will give you a glimpse, or you will see a lot of it actually today. In a second. First of all, just a few things. If you're joining us for the first time, in every YouTube live session, we are giving away a $15 gift card to the Pinkfur Studio store. And all you have to do is just be active in the chat. So every time you write something in the chat, it's another entry. And at the end of this YouTube live session, Heather's going to pick by random a winner for the $15 gift card. And yeah, leave us a thumbs up and let us know that you did so. You can share this video and tell us that you did, yeah, whatever you like. And let me see. So I'm going to flip my camera now and give you, yeah, show you the new collection, Lovely Blooms. Not sure if you've caught the reveal on the Pinkfur Studio blog yet. If you did, or if you didn't, sorry, make sure you do, because you can enter to win, I believe, the whole collection. I'm not sure, but check the blog post on the Pinkfur Studio blog, and there you can see what you can win. And this is the new collection, or actually this is. So let's see if I'm in frame. Yeah. Okay. So in this collection, I think the colors are beautiful, and this was inspired by Flora Farkas, who also was, or collaborated on another collection last year. And this is everything that you get in this collection. There's another set of book rings. We had one in the Flower Market collection from like the last reveal. And you actually get 2 of each color. I already used 2, so they're not in here, but you get 8 book rings in total. And I'm really happy that Pinkfresh is including more things that you can use for mini albums as well. Then obviously, of course, enamel dots. I'm just going to give you a quick, flip through the collection, and then we will get started. Another set of journaling bits that you know from Pinkfur Studio, with different types of pockets and tags and inserts, puffy stickers, and you can see I already used a few bits and pieces here and there for some projects for the big reveal hop. And then this fun cardstock sticker set, which this time is not only frames, but also some different shapes. Then you get some really fun fabric stickers. So they are, as the name suggests, not paper, but fabric. Not sure if you can see, but you can feel it, which is a fun addition, I think. Then some cardstock stickers as usual. Oops. These puffy phrases, which I really love in the colors of this collection, these puffy alpha stickers. And then actually 2 different sets of ephemera. I already dumped them all in this tray here. It's just one set is only florals. Let's see this one here. And you get different kinds of floral die cuts. And then, of course, in a regular ephemera set, but with some gold foiling. And then you get a 6x6 paper pad. And correct me if I'm wrong, Heather, but I believe this time is the first time that the papers are double-sided. So you get 24 papers with all of the designs, and you get 2 of each paper, if that makes sense. And then, of course, the 12 by 12 paper pack, as usual with 12 double-sided papers. So you get all of the 12 papers 2 times in the 6 by 6 paper pad. And just a quick flip through the patterns, and then I will get started. You can see I already cut this one up. And what I like about this collection is that it's very versatile. So you can, I don't think it's, you know, necessarily only for summer or spring. I think you could use it for autumn projects as well. I really like this strawberry pattern here. This cut apart sheet. Lots of florals, but also some, you know, more neutral papers, and a nice, I think a nice combination of blues and pinks and this beautiful dark green. So that's it. That's the whole collection. And as Heather said, so 3 of the 4 collections have already been revealed. Make sure you check them out on the Pinkfresh Studio blog if you haven't yet, after this live. And there's 1 more left to be revealed tomorrow. And to be honest, that the one that's coming tomorrow is kind of my favorite. Okay, good. So there have been double-sided 6 by 6 paper pads for a while. So I told you something wrong, but in any case, I love that they are double-sided. So yeah. And this is, or these are the photos that I'm going to use today. And you know, they are very recent, from my son and me when he got his new sunglasses. And I already have a rough idea in mind what I want to do. And it's mainly focused on this paper right here, but only I wanted to use this as a frame for a different layout, but didn't end up using it. So, but I can't use it today. No, there are no new washi tapes in. Oh, well, there is a new washi tape. Spoiler, for be on the lookout for that tomorrow. But in the 3 collections that have been revealed so far, there is no washi tape. So keep your eyes peeled tomorrow. And that's all I'm going to say. So what I had in mind is I'm going to cut up, first of all of the different stripes here. So you can see that there are different colored stripes made up of, you know, thin stripes of white and colored, alternating. Not sure if I'm explaining that well or if you can see it. And what I'm going to do first is cut them up or cut them apart. And then I will show you what I had in mind with that. And I think there are so many different things you could do with this. And it's a really fun paper. It does hurt my eyes a little bit now that I'm moving those around, but it's still a fun paper. So yeah, I would love to hear if you already have a favorite of the new collections, or if you have an idea of what is coming tomorrow. And those of you who are joining us in the Create and Connect scrapbooking event this weekend are getting to work with those new collections. So you are the first ones. And I think that's very exciting. And I believe, but again, Heather, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the new collections will go live in the Pinkfresh Studio online shop next week. But I hope I'm not saying something wrong. Okay, and the last one. And there's actually, so there's actually 2 more different colored stripes, but as I already cut this into a frame, I can't use those. Or I could, but then I would lose this frame thing, and I might use it on a different layout in the future, so I don't want to cut this up. But I think, you know, we have enough different strips of paper. And okay, so this is what I have so far, and I don't want to mix them up, so I want to keep them in the order that they came on the pattern paper. Oh, they will be live tomorrow, actually. So even sooner, which is great. The sooner the better. So I will show you what I have in mind. I might not use all of them. So here's a very, very rough first, you know, idea or try. And I wanted to create a dimensional layout with these strips of pattern paper and have them kind of in a wavy pattern or wavy, I don't know what you would call it, design like this. And this is going to be, as I said, dimensional. And if you want to place it in a page protector, these strips would get smushed down a little bit, but I'm personally not worried about that. Besides, it's, you know, this could also be a layout that you might maybe hang on a wall or have on your, you know, on a shelf or something. Or you could, if you're worried about these strips being smushed down, you could also add something behind the, you know, the up waves so that it doesn't get smushed. Or you could fold the strips and then you would get a little bit of a different idea. But I want to do this kind of wavy thing. And since they are already, you know, they are not the full 12 by 12 or 12-inch length, so I'm not going to start at the top, but rather like this, more or less. So I will have sort of a white frame around these strips. The only thing that I'm trying to figure out right now is if I want to use all of them or only, or, you know, maybe skip one or two so that it doesn't get too much. Because, you know, although they are very pretty, I feel like having all of them on here and then all of them in this kind of wavy design could get a little bit too much. And then I have my photos. I'm not sure yet if I want to keep them in a photo strip or if I want to place them individually. So I'm keeping them like this for now. And then we will see where to go with this. But I feel like I might want to, you know, take out at least one or two of the strips. So I have, these two are very similar. So I might, you know, take out this one. And to be honest, looking at them like this very closely does hurt my eyes a little bit. But anyway, so maybe I will just keep like one blue, one green, one yellow, and so on. And although I like the pink, the only thing that I don't like is that this one is thinner than the other ones because of the frame thing. And this might drive me a little bit nuts later. Although I don't want to lose the pink. But this actually also looks nice. Kind of a little bit of a more masculine color palette. Although I'm not, you know, I'm not worried about using pink and purple and all of the colors on layouts with photos of my boy. But if you prefer more masculine colors, then you could also just take out a few of those strips and change the color scheme. Let me see if there were any questions. But in any case, Heather is here, so she can, if you have any questions, she can help out. And if I miss anything or Heather also misses, then just ask again. It's not that we are ignoring you. It's just that sometimes, you know, things get a little bit lost. So I'm trying to see. Yeah, I think I like this. There's a little bit of, you know, more white space, which kind of balances things out a little bit. And this is a very soft pink. So I still have the pink, and I think that when it comes to embellishing, you know, I can bring in more pink with some florals later on. So I'm good with that. Now, what I'm going to do now, first of all, before I can adhere those down, is I will have to get them in this, to be a little bit more wavy. And you could just kind of glue this down, push it up like this, glue it down at another point, and so on again. So you would have this wave, but it's a lot easier if you, first of all, kind of bend your paper or roll it. And if you are joining the event this weekend, I can already tell you that you're going to do a lot more paper rolling in Steffi's class. So you could also, I'm using my Pinkfresh Studio embellishment tool for this because it's, it's great and it's beautiful. And it's not, it's actually kind of for placing small embellishments or poking things out of die cuts, but you can also use it for this. You could also just use a pencil or, whatever you have. And you can either roll the whole strip around, or as I showed you before, just kind of do this like you would with some scissors and, this gift wrap ribbon or whatever to curl it. So you can see it's not that big of a difference whether I roll it or whether I just kind of bend it. I hope I'm making sense. So I'm going to do this first so that all my strips are ready to go. And I just want to have them, that they are a little easier to bend and to put in those waves, so that the paper doesn't crease that easily. I hope I'm explaining that well. Okay. So this was the order that they were in. I'm going to put it up here. And then I forgot to measure how wide it was, but I can measure just on here. So I'm using all of the colors except these last two and the first one. And I don't usually measure things, but since I want the white frame or the white border to be even, I have to figure out how wide my strips are. Sorry. So 9¼ inches, which means 12, which means I have to do some math. And I have to, so 12 minus 9¼ is 2 3/4. And so 1 inch, 1 3/8 of an inch, I believe. I will have to keep on either side. That feels wrong. Anyway. In any case, so I will start, by putting those paper strips on here. I will adhere them down. But if I end up with, some things a little bit off to one side, I showed you a trick in my last YouTube live because it happened to me there. I can cut down my white cardstock and put a frame on around or behind my paper. And then from the bottom and top, it's about an inch. So just so that I start at the right, point, I'm going to very lightly trace it with a pencil. And this is not, you can't make it 100% exact, because once you start putting those papers down like this or the strips down like this, and you manipulate them into those waves, of course, they are going to be shorter versus putting them down like this. I hope I'm having some trouble explaining my thoughts today. but I hope you know what I mean. So depending on how high your waves are, of course, your paper is going to shorten. So it's a bit difficult to figure out how much space you will have to keep on the bottom and the top. Okay. Yeah, both. Oh, math. I agree with you. Well, I didn't hate math in school, but you know, I don't like to do math when I'm scrapbooking, but sometimes you have to. So it is what it is. So let's see. I need to figure out how much space. Oh, that's right. I also left some out. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. 7 strips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's right. 1 3/8 felt way too little. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. So it's actually closer to 7 inches. So they're almost 1 inch wide, which would mean that I would have to keep them about 2.5 inches from each side. That feels a lot, you know, that makes more sense. Okay, so what I will do is, as you can see here, I want them to be kind of alternating. So, you know, that the waves are not always the same, but I want them, you know, to be like up, down, and then down, up, and so on. But of course, I will have to adhere down the paper strips at one point at the beginning and at the end. So they will start the same, but then I can kind of manipulate them a little bit. And as I said, it's not going to be perfect in the sense of, you know, having all of the margins exact, but that's okay. And then you can kind of decide, you know, depending on how high your waves are. Of course, your layout is going to be more dimensional or less dimensional, so you can keep them very, you know, subtle, or you can kind of push them out a little bit. So this is something that's up to you. So I'm just going to use my double-sided adhesive, or my tape roller actually, tape runner, and just putting down some adhesive so that I can then push my paper up a little bit and then just push it down into this adhesive, and then, you know, repeat it until I am happy with how this is looking. And now I'm not going to measure so that everything is exactly the same. I'm not worried about that. It's just that, you know, in the end, it should be roughly the same distance between waves. But as I said, it's okay if it's not perfect. And since I'm using the tape runner, I can still kind of lift things up a little bit and move things around because it's not that sticky. So if I feel like, you know, I might want to move something a little bit further down, I could, and so on. But as I said, so for me, this is going to be a layout that I will keep on my wall. So I'm not worried about some dimension. You can see it's quite dimensional. You could keep the waves a little bit lower. And simply, you could also shorten the paper strips a little bit so that they are just, you know, more of an accent and don't take up that much of your layout. So that's all up to you. And once you have the first one down, it's a lot easier because you can just push the second one against your first paper strip and then, you know, keep moving. So now it will have some, and now it's actually quite simple because wherever you have your wave is going up on the left strip, you would put your other wave would be going down, and so on. So as I said, I just don't want them to be exactly the same, but they will all kind of end and begin at the same place, I hope. Okay. What I could do, I'm actually going to go ahead and just put some foam or some tape runner on the top, because that's, as I said, where all of the strips are going to start. And now just kind of this is going to take a little bit of time, so I hope it's not too boring to watch. But I had this idea in my mind for today, and I really wanted to do it. I was a little bit hesitant because, you know, as I said, it's going to take a little bit of time, but I couldn't get this idea out of my head. So this is, as I said, you could, I'm going to do mine for the wall, but as I said, you could put it in an album, just keep the waves lower so that it's not as dimensional. And if it's lower, it will just, as on my, you know, this was my test page. You can see that the waves are a lot smaller and more stretched out. So if you put this in an album, it's just going to get smushed down a little bit, but it's not going to be destroyed, if you know what I mean. So you could totally do this, and then if you put it in an album, it's just going to be smushed down a little bit. But even then, you would still see the dimension because you have adhesive on different points of your strips. You can see here, if I push all of these down, you can see that that you would still have those shadows. So yeah, so that was my kind of thought process here. And I might actually go ahead and later on, after this live session, I might lift up the beginnings and the ends of each strip and put some double-sided tape on there, just to make sure that these waves don't, you know, come up, because, you know, tape runner is not as strong as double-sided adhesive. So. And we are almost done. Just a little bit more. Let me see if I'm missing any questions. Okay, I think I'm good with questions, but as I said, if I miss anything, just ask again. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to get this part finished. And then let's see. So I'm going to make a bigger one here. And then again, as I said, you can go back in later, you know, when you're happy with where you kind of placed your waves or how you placed your waves, you could go back in and lift them up and just put some double-sided adhesive or liquid adhesive behind those parts so that this really stays, or all of the paper strips stay where they should be, because this is going to put quite some, how would you say that? I don't know, force or something on those paper strips. Not sure if you know what I mean. I'm going to put it so that I'm going to put this on, probably on a shelf I have in my scrap room, or hang it on a wall. Or you could also put it in some kind of shadow box photo frame, you know, one that has some or depth. But obviously, if you put it in a regular frame or a regular album, things will get smushed down a little bit. So just be aware of that. But as I said, you can kind of manipulate the depth and the dimension to your liking and to your intended use. So you can see that my paper strips are already kind of, you know, the ends are already kind of, they always want to come up. So I will put some double-sided tape on that, but I'm going to do this after the live session because I can go ahead and, so this is what it looks like right now. So you can see the dimension. You can see that my paper also kind of curls a little bit, but that's okay. And I put a little bit too much tape runner, but that's the great thing about this one. You can just rub off any excess and then, you know, it's as if there was nothing there to begin with. Okay, so you can see these are my photos, and or you could also tape this to a second piece of paper, you know, just a scrap paper, just to give it more, to kind of push it down and to give it more strength so that it doesn't curl up. And you know what? I'm going to grab another piece of pattern paper just for a second. Or cardstock, actually. So this is just some random cardstock that I have for that I don't use for anything. So for like test runs and things like that. And what I'm going to do now real quick, because this is going to drive me insane while I try to work on this, that this kind of keeps curling up. So what I will do is just going to put some double-sided tape on here. Doesn't have to look pretty, because this is going to be on the back side of my layout. And I cut it down so it's not exactly 12 by 12 inches, but a little bit smaller so that I don't have to worry about it peeking out from behind my layout. But it's going to help with the curling a little bit. And just, you know, keep me from going insane. So just, obviously I have to kind of make sure that it's even. Great. Of course it sticks where it shouldn't. That's the fun of YouTube Lives, isn't it? I shouldn't have taken off all of the So that was not as planned, but anyway, that's the fun part of doing it live. Having to improvise, so it does curl a little bit up here. But when I kind of put it in a shelf or whatever. You can't see it, but this freezed now, but it is what it is. I have to, you know, those lives kind of push you to get over any fear of perfection. So yeah. Okay, I think, so what I want to show you is that I don't like how, you know, the photos look if I just put them on here like this in a paper or in a strip. So I am going to go ahead and put them or cut them apart so that I can arrange them on my on the background. And we will see if I will actually end up using all three or maybe just two. I'm not sure yet. So, you know, and I was thinking something like this, have them kind of staggered. Something like that. And obviously I will have to put something behind my photo to, or, you know, adhere it to the waves so that it doesn't, that the photos don't slide down. But I'm just trying to find where to place the photos for now. I think something like this looks nice. Something like that, I would say. And then, so before I adhere these photos, I want to go ahead and figure out what else I want to add, just to make sure that I don't adhere them and then I don't like the placement, because I really don't want to take up anything, you know, from the waves, because I don't want them to be pulled off from my background. And at first I was thinking to do some kind of tone on tone technique, but I don't think I will actually, because as I said, I want to bring in a little bit of this darker pink that I don't have anymore in the strips. And so I don't think I will do a tone on tone. You could totally do this with this pattern paper. And I had lots of different ideas for how you could do that. But I think I will actually, you know, just use all of the colors wherever I like. And as I said, so this is not even right now, but I will take care of that after the live session. I don't want to bore you with any of this stuff right now. So what I'm thinking is, because I can't put a title, you know, across this, because obviously it's not going to stick to it, or it's kind of being warped. And I don't have enough space at the bottom or the top to put a title, or at least one of those phrase stickers. But I'm thinking that either something like this, you know, and the happy would work with the blue, but it doesn't work because it has these downstrokes of the P, and Y. So it's kind of, you know, doesn't work with the wave. But the remember looks good, I think. I would have to move my photo over a little bit so that you can read it. But I'm liking this. Lori, so I put some of my layouts in albums. I have some of my layouts displayed on like shelves in my scrapbook, in my scrap room. And I have a lot of layouts actually just in a pile on my shelf. So those are mostly the layouts with a dimension, or of course those that are on my shelves. But I also put some of my more dimensional layouts in my albums, because as I said, I'm personally not too worried about them being kind of smushed in the albums, because you can still tell that there is dimension. It's still different than putting everything flat on your background and adhering it flat down. You can still tell the difference even when you flip through the album and look at them in a page protector. But obviously you could kind of, you know, soften it down, or, you know, kind of have a little bit less dimension, I would say, if you want to put it in a page protector. It's all good, Laurie. So yeah, as I said, you can kind of adapt this to whatever you feel like you want to do with this type of layout. So this kind of works out because first of all, I don't have any downstrokes on this word. And then second, not sure if you can tell, but the distance from on the left is a little bit more than on the right. And by putting this title here, it kind of evens things out a little bit. And it works with the blue, so it's kind of perfect. And that's another tip, you know, if you're not sure yet if you want to use something or where you want to use it, like a sticker, you can just cut the sticker off from the sticker sheet, and then you can move it around, see where it works, where you like it best, you know. So this is always something that I do when I'm not ready to commit. Okay. Well, I think I'm not going to use any of the others because that would be a little bit too much. I don't need the book rings. I won't use any of the journaling bits. So I'm just, you know, quickly going through the different embellishments so that I can kind of figure out what I might use and what not. I don't need the alpha stickers. Let's see if I want to use any of the chipboard pieces. I'm not sure. I was also kind of thinking about if I want to use any of the frames, but they are a little bit too small, or my photos are too big, however you like it. And these ones, are they too big or are they? So my photos are a little bit different in size, and I think this one works actually. You know, I kind of like having one photo be a little bit more, you know, if it's in a frame, you kind of pull focus towards that photo, and it kind of breaks up this whole design. So what I'm going to do, because I'm not sure yet if I like it or not, and I don't want to put this chipboard frame on my photo because this adhesive is very strong, and if I try to pull it off my photo, it's going to rip it. So what I always do is I just peel off this adhesive layer on the back. You could use a powder tool or something like that, but to be honest, if you miss a certain spot with the powder tool, then this part is going to stick to your photo or your paper or whatever, and it's on there, and it's going to rip it if you peel it off. So just to be sure that there's no adhesive left, I'm going to peel off this adhesive layer. And, you know, even if I don't use it on this layout, if I can just put liquid adhesive on the back and it's a sticker again. So all good. So this photo fits exactly into the frame. And, you know, it has all of the colors that I used on the back. Maybe something like this. Bow, I'm in the same boat. It usually takes me forever to commit to something as well. But having to do it, you know, in a YouTube live and only having an hour to do so, really, you know, I kind of have to get on with it. So that's actually helped me. And as I said, so this paper strip is already kind of coming off. But this is just because of the tape runner. It's not as sticky as the double-sided adhesive. So I will have to get this fixed with some tape after this live session. And it is a little bit fiddly, you know, with the things moving around and kind of falling off. But I still hope that you enjoy the process, even though it's a little bit tedious. I would say. Okay, I just checked if I missed any comments. So I think I will actually, as I said, so I will frame this photo because that's the one where both of us look directly into the camera. And I like this, you know, having one photo a little bit more in focus, you could say. So I'm going to okay. And yeah, of course, I would love it if you give this, if you're enjoying this video, I would love it if you give it a thumbs up. Okay, so the only thing that I'm now kind of thinking of is if I want to cut the other two photos down into a square as well, because now this is square, these are rectangular, and I think that's going to drive me a bit crazy. So let's see. So I'm going to cut them, and I'm just going to, you know, wing it. So I will have to do it step by step, just to make sure that I don't cut off any important bits. And it's, you know, that's close enough. It doesn't have to be an exact square, but I feel like it's looking a lot nicer if they are roughly the same shape. Let's see. So you can see now all of the photos are now almost perfect squares, and I think it's looking a lot nicer and a lot, you know, more harmonious or something than having one photo square and the others rectangular. Just checking if I want more frames, but I don't think I do. Okay. And I don't want to overdo it with the embellishing on this because, you know, the paper strips are kind of the main element on this whole thing. So the only thing I think that I will add are just a few of the floral die cuts, you know, something like this here. And I was thinking of, where did I put it? Maybe just backing those two photos with some pattern paper, just for a teensy tiny bit of color. And here I might actually try to keep it sort of tone on tone. So for this photo, I'm going to look for a blue pattern paper. And for this photo, you know, something in this color area here. Just to give it a little bit of something. Okay, so let's see. Alyssa, I totally agree. Pinkfresh Studio frames are some of my favorite embellishments in the collections. I used to kind of struggle with them. You know, I used to love them, but kind of struggle in the sense of what to do with them or how to use them. But I've been using them so much lately, and now I can't I kind of can't stop. I feel like I have to use them on every project. So we will see. I will try out this whole framing my photo thing, and then I will see if I like it or not. And that's why I used the tape runner, so that I could kind of pull off my photos if I end up not liking how it looks. Oh, thank you so much, Wendy. I'm very happy to hear that you like my designs, and or if you were referring to my designs. Not sure if you are referring to my designs or Pink Fresh Studio in general. I'm not liking the color I chose here, because this is more of an orange from the center. So either I will try a different color, or I will actually skip this part. Okay, before I cut this one up, I will just kind of, you know what? I actually think I prefer them without the frames, or without the pattern paper behind it. I feel like it's too, I don't know, too something with the frames. Okay, so I decided that I want my photos to go somewhere in the lower half. I want those two to stay together, and then this one to be more on this side. But I don't wanted to put it up here, because I feel like it's, this is kind of too much torn apart. And I feel like this has a better movement between the photos, and kind of keeps your, or moves your eye across the page better. So I hope that, I always try to explain my thought process behind my design, and why I put something where I put it, and so on. So I hope that kind of, helps and gives you some ideas, or, makes you understand better of why I do something like I do it. So yeah, that's why I usually talk that much. And again, I'm only using the tape runner to adhere my photos down, because as I said, I will use double-sided adhesive behind some of the strips. So I need to be able to pull them off after this live session. So nothing is, completely permanent right now, but I will use stronger adhesive when I'm putting everything back together. But I'm going to, adhere everything down where it's going to go, just so that you have an idea of the final design, or of where to put something. And obviously I have to make use of the waves a little bit to be able to actually adhere those photos down. And I just moved this photo over a little bit, because I don't want to put my title up here, because as I said, my photos are down here, and it feels like everything is contained more towards the lower half of this layout. So moving this up feels a bit strange. Okay. So great thing is, now I have this paper strip, kind of guiding me on putting this title down. So it's straight like this. Perfect. And now I can, kind of put those photos down like this. That. And then just a few, I'm just going to slide in a few of the floral ephemera pieces here and there. And you could also, you know, put some things behind some of the waves or have them stick out from behind of the waves, just to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Accentuate the dimension and the waves and so on. And of course, some enamel dots, because, you know, I can't do it without them. And even though I don't want to do a tone on tone, I feel like I'm going to sort of keep the blue-green embellishing with the enamel dots over here, and then over here more of the warm tones, if, you know, that's making sense. Just going to scatter a few of those around. Just here and there. Nope, that's not it. Okay. And one more somewhere. Nope, not that one. Okay. So this is it for the enamel dots. And I know right now it looks like, you know, the waves are quite different. So these ones seem very short, and this one, or these ones seem more stretched out, but that's just because these paper strips are starting to peel off. So I would try to get it more even when I put things back to where I want them. Just checking if I want any of those puffy stickers. Okay, so I think either the love you or the you are so loved, because they would go perfect with the title, because it says remember, and then this would be kind of like a subtitle. Remember, you are so loved, or remember, I love you, even though the I is missing, but you know. And I feel like I could put this either down here or circle. What do we think? What do we like better, the circle or this pink you are so loved thing? What's your choice? Let me know. Circle, this. I know it's not a lot of time left, but you know, I'm not going to do a whole lot more of embellishing, so I'm going to put it aside until I hear a few opinions and going to look through the ephemera for a second until I hear from you what you prefer. And a few of those are quite large, and I don't want to cover up too much of the waves. I feel like they are a design element in their own sense. So, you know, don't want to cover up too much of those. Pink, pink, pink. One circle, the rest is pink, pink, pink. Okay, good. That was kind of my my preference too, I would say. I was also leaning towards the pink a little bit more. Okay, so I think, so I only took out a few die cuts that I think might work. We will see. But first of all, I will use the pink. You are so loved. And I'm going to put it on this photo here. It looked nice over here, but then, you know, you would put more focus on this part and kind of lose this photo here, and it would get kind of, you know, left out. So that's why I'm highlighting this photo a little bit more. So yeah, I do have the fabric stickers left to go through, but I don't think there are any, maybe this one. So maybe one of the flowers, and then that's it, because a lot of the fabric stickers have some text on them, and I don't want to add any more words or phrases apart from this. Okay, so I see we have a winner for the gift card. It's Carrie Bridges. Congratulations, Carrie. Email to claim your prize, email leah@pinkfreshstudio.com. It's just LEA. And give her 2 to 3 business days to get back to you. And then once you get your gift card, you can go shopping in the Pink Fresh Studio store and, you know, get yourself some of the new collections. So congratulations. And as I said, I'm almost done. I probably won't do a whole lot more to this page. I know I always say that, but it's true this time. So I might, you know, something like this. I kind of like those flowers sticking out there, and then this one, and maybe this, but that's it. That feels like a nice balance of florals and kind of geometric design. And I'm not going to flip this paper up right now because I haven't adhered some of the things down. I will just give you another glimpse of the dimension. And I'm going to flip my camera just for a second. So yeah, thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it's a little bit different and, you know, not a very, you know, traditional scrapbook layout in the sense of something you can easily put into an album. But still, I hope you enjoyed it. And as I said, if you did, I would love a thumbs up. And of course, would love to have you join again. Make sure you check out the Pink Fresh Studio blog again for the new collections and to join all of the giveaways. Tomorrow is going to be the last reveal of my favorite collection. And then next week, I believe on Tuesday, it's another card, Scrapbook Live. I'm not sure if it's Leah or Heather. And next week on Thursday, it's actually going to be me again and not Natalie. So you will see Natalie in 2 weeks and me in next week, where I'm going to be using my favorite collection of the new ones. So thank you very much for joining us. And yeah. Have a nice day, evening, wherever you are, and a nice weekend. And I hope to see some of you in the Scrapbook Create and Connect event. Take care, everyone. Thank you for joining, and goodbye.